In the land of Uz, long ago, there lived a man named Job. He was a righteous soul, blameless and upright, who feared God and shunned evil. Job was blessed beyond measure, with great wealth and a large family. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and his possessions were vast. 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys. His household was filled with servants, and he was renowned as the greatest man among all the people of the East. Job's children were fond of feasting, often gathering in their homes to celebrate their birthdays. They would invite their 3 sisters to join them in eating and drinking. After each period of festivities, Job, ever mindful of his children's spiritual well-being, would make arrangements for their purification. Early in the morning, he would rise and offer burnt sacrifices for each of them, thinking, "Perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." This was Job's regular custom, a testament to his unwavering faith and devotion. One day, high above in the celestial realm, the angels presented themselves before the Lord. Among them came Satan, the adversary. The Lord, in his infinite wisdom, asked Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan replied, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." The Lord then spoke of Job, saying, "Have you considered my servant Job? There's no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil." Satan, ever the tempter, challenged God's praise of Job. "Does Job fear God for nothing?" he sneered. "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord, confident in Job's faithfulness, allowed Satan to test him.
"Very well," he said. "Everything he has is in your hands, but on the man himself, do not lay a finger."
With this permission granted, Satan departed from the presence of the Lord, ready to unleash calamity upon Job's life. In the blink of an eye, Job's world was turned upside down. Messengers came to him, one after another, bearing news of devastating losses. His oxen and donkeys were stolen by raiders, his sheep consumed by fire from the heavens, his camels carried off by marauders, and worst of all, his children perished. When a mighty wind collapsed the house where they were feasting, upon hearing this terrible news, Job tore his robe and shaved his head in mourning. Yet, even in the depths of his anguish, he fell to the ground in worship, saying, "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Satan, undeterred by Job's steadfast faith, appeared once more before the Lord. Again, the Lord asked, "Where have you come from?" And Satan answered, as before. The Lord commended Job, saying, "He still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason." But Satan persisted, arguing, "Skin for skin. A man will give all he has for his own life, but stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord permitted Satan to afflict Job's body, but commanded that his life be spared. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Job sat among the ashes, scraping his skin with a piece of broken pottery. His wife, overcome by their misfortunes, said to him, "Are you still maintaining your integrity? Curse God and die." But Job replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. When Job's 3 friends, Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Nomathite, heard about all the troubles that had come upon him, they set out from their homes to comfort and console him. As they approached from a distance, they could barely recognize him. They began to weep aloud, tore their robes, and sprinkled dust on their heads. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him, because they saw how great his suffering was. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. He lamented his existence, questioning why he had been born into such suffering. His friends, believing that his misfortunes must be punishment for some hidden sin, began to counsel him. They urged Job to repent and seek God's forgiveness, convinced that his righteousness was not as complete as he claimed. But Job maintained his innocence, refusing to falsely confess to sins he had not committed. He longed to present his case before God, certain that if he could only speak with the Almighty, he would be vindicated. Throughout their long debates, Job's faith was tested to its limits, yet he never lost his belief in God's ultimate justice and wisdom. As the discussions wore on, a young man named Elihu, who had been listening silently, spoke up. He rebuked both Job and his friends, offering a different perspective on suffering and God's ways. Elihu argued that God uses suffering to purify and instruct, not merely to punish. Finally, the Lord himself answered Job out of the whirlwind. He challenged Job with questions that revealed the vastness of divine wisdom and power. "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation?" God asked. "Tell me, if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions? Surely you know." Through a series of awe-inspiring inquiries, God demonstrated to Job the limits of human understanding and the folly of questioning the Almighty's ways. Humbled and awestruck, Job replied, "I know that you can do all things. No purpose of yours can be thwarted." You asked, "Who is this that obscures my plans without knowledge?" Surely, I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know. My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. Therefore I despise myself and repent in dust and ashes. The Lord then turned to Job's friends, rebuking them for not speaking the truth about him as Job had. He instructed them to offer sacrifices and to have Job pray for them. After Job prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. Job's brothers and sisters and all who had known him before came and ate with him in his house. They comforted and consoled him over all the trouble the Lord had brought on him, and each one gave him a piece of silver and a gold ring. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. And he also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. Nowhere in all the land were there found women as beautiful as Job's daughters, and their father granted them an inheritance along with their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years. He saw his children and their children too, the 4th generation. And so Job died, old and full of years, having witnessed the faithfulness of God through trials and blessings alike. His story stands as a testament to unwavering faith in the face of unimaginable adversity, a beacon of hope for all who trust in the Lord.